Aloha and welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're going to cover the first annual Gun Luau of 2021. And today we're covering Stage 1, or at least what was Stage 1 for me. This was actually called Stolen Hawaiian Idol, and you had to take care of Pele or else bad things were going to happen. So what did you have to do in this stage? Well, I'm going to post up here real quick a stage brief, but to go over it verbally, you started out in one bay. You had a plate rack in front of you with two pieces of steel on either side. So 10 targets you had to engage. You had to do this with your pistol, but you also had to be holding a 30-pound idol. An idol. What does an idol look like? Here, let me show you. This is an idol, except it was full and it was very heavy, weighing 30 pounds. And you had to keep this in your support hand and engage the 10 targets at the end of the bay, strong hand only. Once you did that, you ditched your pistol and dump bucket and you dashed over to the other bay. And over there you had a tank trap. Because, yeah, Hawaii, there's lots of tank traps around there. Think back to the war. And from the tank trap, you had a series of targets you had to engage. Some were just small clays you had to bust. And other were paper targets that didn't show much target because they were covered up by no-shoots. Here, take a look and we'll talk about how I did on the run after you watch.
Are you ready? Ready. Stand by.
Where am I missing?
Nope. If you want, I have. No, I've got it. I have yours is crated? Yeah.
Suppressor marker.
It's a little high. High.
God damn it!
If finished. I'm going to clear. And we're clear. Clear rifle. Stand by your place. Oh, that's what you're shooting. 7.62? Yeah. Very in-rangey.
So when the RO says very in-rangey about the rifle you're using, that might be a clue you might not have brought the right one to the match. But we'll have more on the rifle in the next stage tomorrow. But let's go on with the weapons I brought to this stage. This stage, as you saw, was divided up in basically two parts. You had one bay with pistol targets and the other bay with rifle targets. Let's go over the first bay with the pistol first. First, I want to point out this. this picture you just saw pop up. Yeah, that's the rear sight of my pistol. And you notice it's way off to the left. When it started out the day it wasn't, which is a good and a bad thing. It's good that I start off with my rear sight in the proper place so my pistol's zeroed and I can hit what I'm aiming at. But you just watch me have a whole bunch of trouble hit what I'm aiming at, which is really frustrating because I'll put an end card back to, I believe it was stage 8 of Finish Brutality 2020, where it was basically the same thing. You were carrying a big heavy kettlebell, shooting all these targets one-handed, and I did way better at that with a pulled hamstring than I did in this run, which is rather disturbing. However, that rear sight that I just showed you is going to cause me a lot of problems throughout the rest of this day's shoot, because it didn't progressively go center and off to the left. If you pay attention to my aim cam footage, which is down the sights, if you look at it stage to stage, it just moves a little bit back and forth in the dovetail. And just a little bit so it does not readily become apparent. And if you touch the sight even now, it doesn't move around on the pistol at all. You know, so it's not like you can put finger pressure to movement, but under recoil from 40 caliber, yeah, it's enough to make it just jostle around a little bit. So basically every shot was aimed at a different place. And so I'm going to go straight up and say that does not help your score. Now moving on to the second bay, the rifle. Like I said, we'll talk more in depth about my rifle in the next stage tomorrow. But basically I brought an AR with a collapsible stock, as you saw, in 7.62 by 39. That's a less than optimal rifle cartridge combination for this match, because when you hear it's a luau match, you think it's kind of, hey, laid back in a party. And it was very laid back. It was a fun match. You also had to bring your A game. And this was not an easy pushover match. You had to have some skill. And the targets, as you saw on the paper targets, and if you pay real close attention, my aim cam did catch the dot in the sight, so you can see it on target. So I was able to get my hits on the shoots versus not hitting the no shoots. But when it came to the clay targets, that was a challenge, because of the 6 of them, 4 of them were standard clays about yay big. 2 of them were those dang mini clays, which are about yay big. And that sight going the offset of the sight, and it turns out the sight's not zeroed, which we'll talk about more in the next stage tomorrow. That made those 6 clay targets very hard to collect the hits on. Ended up getting it just as par out came, which is unfortunate, a less than optimal start, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this was a really fun stage. This was just the first stage of what would be 7 stages on the first day of rifle and pistol action. And on the second day, we had 5 stages of shotgun pistol action. So we got a lot more to come. Please tune in for tomorrow, which was the second stage of day 1.